here, I ask you, what is something that you would like to return to? Just one word. Think of something you'd like to return to. If you want to shout it out, by the way, go ahead. Life. Life. Let's sing this together. It's an echo song, me and you. We return. We return. We return. Return again. We return. We return. We return. Return again and again to
we'd still be struggling with the virus and its variants. Far too many having been taken from our lives, our world. Yet with safety our chief concern, the cantor and I have been testing regularly, so she's my, what do they call it? Not cocoon. Thank you very much, thank you very much. We found a way to come back home, to be here together, punam, to masked, punam. And even with some in on our live stream, joining us at home, the gift of this moment is wherever you are, linked heart to heart in this place of hope, we are together again. Let the gracious, sacred sentiment of Chip and Joanna Gaines. Yes, I'm a big Fixer Upper fan. From their Magnolia Manifesto. If I don't know, if I ever saw a definition of home, this is it. We believe in home, which means that everyone deserves a seat at the table and everyone has a story worth telling. We believe in human kindness, knowing we are made better when we work together. We believe in doing good and in nudging others to do the same. We believe in unearthing beauty, however hidden or subtle it might be. And so being here together, our home reminds us that each day is a gift and that everyday miracles are scattered about if we only have eyes to see. We believe in home, that it should restore us today and ready us for a better tomorrow. When Balaam, the biblical hitman for hire prophet, was hired to curse the people of Israel, all he could do was bless them. Seeing them gathered together, he shouts out, Ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov, how good is your gathering, O Israel. Seems the warmth they brought one to another that so touched his heart, he couldn't help but feel the same warmth we share here today. The miracle of this moment, even if we feel a bit broken, is that if we open ourselves from the inside out and begin to see from the outside in, the prayer we share can spark our spirits, make whole our souls again, and fill us with hope enough to start life anew.
I thank you for my life, body and soul. Help me realize I'm beautiful and whole. I am perfect the way I am, and a little broken too.
We thank you, sacred source of life, for the blessing of being alive, able to experience the sunrise and live another day, for the family that is always close, even when they are not, for the health we will never again take for granted, and the hope healing can be real. We thank you, source of sustenance, for the ability to provide for ourselves and share with those who cannot, for the strength that we need to get back up when life knocks us down, for the help we can give by extending our hands to people who need it most. Elohai, Elohai, Neshama, Neshama, Shanatatabi, Shanatatabi, Tehorahi, Tehorahi. We thank you, sacred source of hope, for the earth that we share and the responsibility we bear to care for all its inhabitants, for the love that lives in our relationships, our families, in our memories, filling our hearts every day, for the light that shines even through life's cracks, sparking our spirits. Elohai, Elohai, Neshama, Neshama, Shanatatabi, Shanatatabi, Tehorahi, Tehorahi. Join me in blessing on page 3. Blessed are the works of your hands, O Holy One. Blessed are hands that have touched light. Blessed are hands that have nurtured a child. Blessed are hands that have embraced with love and friendship. Blessed are hands that are planted with new seeds. Blessed are hands that have harvested ripe fields. Blessed are hands that have cleaned, washed, mopped, and scrubbed. Blessed are hands that have held pain. Blessed are hands that have become knotty with age. Blessed are hands that are wrinkled and scarred from doing justice. Blessed are hands that hold the promise of the future. Blessed are the works of your hands, O Holy One. Baruch atah Adonai, gomel chasadim tovim la'amo Yisrael. Blessed are you, Adonai, whose love for the people Israel is revealed in acts of goodness. Together. In love, you bring light to the earth and its creatures. Your goodness renews the creation each day.
Infinite, varied, and rich are your works, divine artists, all of them wrought with wisdom. The whole earth is teeming with life. Awestruck by the universe, work of your hands, let all life bless you, praise you, and celebrate the beauty of your lights. May you shine a new light into Zion, and may we soon be privileged to share in that light. Baruch atah Adonai, Yotzer HaMe'orot. Our praise to you, Adonai, creator of the cosmic. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Over the past year, this crazy, unpredictable journey we've shared into the sea and through the wilderness towards the edge of promise, what has helped carry us across? What's that hope that has paved the path through the difficulty and the struggle and the tsuris? We asked for different LTers to share. Here's what they had to say. The unexpected and relentless challenges of the past 18 months, says John Borden, to our physical and spiritual health, remind me again that Jews are a people who always have to struggle and who persist. During times of sometimes overwhelming anxiety and confusion, I find enduring strength in family, faith, community, and the small miracles that offer hope for a better future. Susan Orient, beautifully, sunrise walks by the water, begun during the pandemic, were different every day and brought me closer to what is true and good. Working with clergy on my conversion and transition to Judaism brought me home to my true faith. Amy Trissel, my family, friends who are like family, played such an important role in supporting my family, keeping me sane over this past year. The love and support surrounding us from near and far carried me through a really emotional year. Amy Lieberman, faith, family, and gratitude, appreciation for all creatures in nature, and Seth Kupferberg, who was just a Torah reader in the tent outside. More and more as I get older, I feel part of a sequence. From my grandparents to my granddaughter, 5 generations is about all I can imagine, and I hope enough to carry all of us through.
שירה חדשה שיפכו גאולים לשמך על שפת הים יחד כולם הודו והמלכו ויאמרו
Remember us, Melech, crown of creation, lover of life. Remember us when you fill the cup of life.
And for your sake, author of life, make us characters on your page, names that live for your sake between the covers of your book.
Remember us for life, sovereign God,
who treasures life.
Inscribe us in the book of life for your sake,
O God of life. Magen Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah.
As if we needed to be reminded that death is a daily reality, that our actions, our inactions, our kindness or cruelty determine the state of our existence. So perhaps to play out the Unetana Tokef, the prayer we're about to utter, this most awesome, dreaded prayers metaphor, what it's telling us is that the power of death and life is in our hands. Bachya wrote, the great rabbi of the 11th century, our days are scrolls, write on them what you want remembered. Which means, with every waking day, we are writing the story of our lives. Sure, there are script directions from the master editor, some settings we'd rather do without, but our prayer reminds us the pen of life is poised. As poet Maggie Smith artfully wrote, what is home but a book we write and read again and again, each time dog-earing different pages. In the morning I wake in time to pencil in the sun high, how fragile it is, the world. I almost wrote the word but caught myself. Either one could be erased in these written woods. What is home but a passage I am writing and underlining every time I read it? The author of Life and Death has entrusted us with the power to give our lives essential purpose, to write what we want remembered, to make every day mean a bit more. Unetana Tokef, the power of this moment reminds us that life's pen is in our hands. On Rosh Hashanah, it is written, on Yom Kippur, it is seen.
Berosh, Berosh, Berosh Hashanah, Berosh Hashanah Yikatevun, Uviom, Uviom, Uviom Tzom Kippur, Uviom Tzom Kippur Yikatevun, Berosh Hashanah Yikatevun, Uviom Tzom Kippur Yikatevun, Berosh Hashanah Yikatevun, Uviom Tzom Kippur Yikatevun.
Who will live and who will die, who will reach the ripeness of age, who will be taken before their time.
Kama yavurun, v'chama yimarun,
who by famine and who by drought, who by earthquake and who by plague, who by strangling and who by stoning. And who will wander, who will be tranquil and who will be troubled, who will be calm and who tormented, who will live in poverty and who in prosperity, who will be humbled and who exalted. But through return to the right path, through prayer and righteous giving, we can
transcend the harshness of the degree.
Let Marge Piercy's poem frame our Kedusha, our prayer for holiness. It's not in your little booklet, but I apologize. I should have put it in. It's great. All living sing praises one and holy, so let us remember as we eat and we work, as we drive and we walk, all living are one and holy. So might we make ourselves worthy, acting out justice, out kindness and healing, for we must remember, holy and one. Holy is the hand that works for peace. Holy is the mouth that speaks for goodness. Holy the foot that walks toward mercy. So we must praise the power that joins us as we remember, holy and one. We rise.
נקדש את שמך בעולם, כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום, ככתוב על יד נביאך, וקרא זה אל זה ואמר, קדוש, 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 אדוני
If you had just a line or two to write your hope, your most sincere hope for the new year, what would it be? We asked a few temple members to do that. Are they short because he's here? I'm so glad. I'm so glad. Wait, you can come up. You come up. I think we have these two mics for you, right? So you each get a mic. You can turn them, either side, either way. These are a sampling of the hopes that LTers shared.
As we prepare for a moment of silent prayer to reflect on our own hopes for the new year, here are some of our community's wishes for 5782.
Good health, healing, love, laughter, friends, and family. The Siegel family.
My wish for 5782 is that everyone thinks about their neighbor, follows public health guidance, and does their part to end the global pandemic for good. Michael Rosen.
I wish we would focus on climate change solutions. We are living in difficult times, and my concern is for our children and grandchildren who will inherit the earth. Marlene Colbert.
I hope and wish for less hate, more love, less anger, more forgiveness, less sadness, more happiness, less frowns, more smiles, less tears, more laughter, and most of all, I hope and wish for less sickness and death, more health and healing. Robin Ginsburg.
A return to a more normal, for greater equity in the world, for the United States government to demonstrate humanity towards those who have stood by us on the international stage, the Komarov family.
May our country find peace and love for one another instead of hate and anger. May President Biden continue to bring hope, calm, and guidance to our very divided country. Sunny Yedis Goldberg.
I hope that more and more adults worldwide get vaccinated, that very soon young children can also be safely vaccinated, and that we finally beat the virus. Brian Damiano.
We wish for a year filled with seeing more family and loved ones in person, good health, more peace in our world, and a great school year at Larchmont Temple Nursery School. The Shosid family.
We wish that our family and community continues to find joy and adventure in whatever this year's new normal turns out to be. The Greenblatt family.
So now close your eyes for a second. What's your hope? What do you see in your mind's eye or feel in your heart? What would your innermost, deepest hope be? You can even have 3 sentences for the new year. Take a minute. about to share our Avinu Malkeinu prayer, the hallmark of these holy days, just recognize what you're saying. It's a contradiction in terms. One God is Avinu, so close that she's your mother, and at the same time, Malkeinu, so far that he's the sovereign King of kings beyond all realms and worlds. That's what makes us search, and that indeed is what opens your search. God is really the image of how you envision. Avinu Malkeinu, and there's a spectrum in between. We rise. Facing the ark for this reading? Yeah, I think we are. Yeah. We read responsively. Loving Father, gentle, forgiving, Avinu, compassionate Mother, comforting presence, Avinu, our rock and redeemer, close to us always, Avinu, embracing, accepting our frailty, Avinu, together. None of these are true, none of them are you, yet we stand as brothers.
Avinu Malkeinu Chonenu Vonenu Ki in Bonu Masi Avinu Malkeinu Chonenu Vonenu Ki in Bonu Masi
We're on the top of page 14, Seder Kriyat HaTorah.
Ein kamocha ba'Elohim Adonai, ve'ein kema'asecha, malchutecha malchut kol olamim, u'memshaltecha
together. We are the people of the book, through fire and mud and dust. The binding of Isaac could not be more disturbing. I'm not telling you anything you don't know, folks. A father summoned by the call of faith attempts the unthinkable to sacrifice what he holds most dear, his eldest son, believing the Holy One is seeking such an offering. Thankfully, God had other plans, the ram a plant all along. But what about Isaac? If you ask me, coming down that Mount of Terror, Isaac is us. Confused, traumatized by what he's seen, he's wounded. Feeling isolated from most all he'd held close, what does Isaac do? Torah infers he heads to Be'er Lahai Roi, where Hagar lives. Yes, the wife of his father who'd been cast out. He goes to the place where God sees and hears the solitary, lonely soul. Isaac leaves a terrifying yesterday behind to rediscover the compassion he so craves. To preserve his faith and his sanity, Isaac goes searching for the hope that life can again be filled with light, helping him to build a new tomorrow. Isaac is us. We're preparing to read this amazing Torah, this Sephardi scroll, actually ransomed around 500 years ago from a community in, I used to know where it was. It may have been Syria, but maybe not. I think it's Syria. It doesn't say it, but what it does say is how much the affluent Jew paid to ransom his son back. And so it's the perfect Torah to read, this Sephardi scroll. But as we read it, I wanted to give you the chance to be part of the Aliyah. Fred Rogers says that when he looked at a scary world, frightened, his mother would say, "Son, look for the helpers. There are always helpers." And so, if in this past pandemic year, you have extended your hand to assist another in need, bringing groceries, delivering a dish, picking up a prescription, maybe in these past weeks or days, helping with the collections with victims of floodwaters, stand in your place right now. If you've done any of those things, I will not call on you to read individually. Don't worry about it. If you have lent a listening ear to another's kvetching or concern, validating their pain, allowing them to vent, please stand. I got more. If you have offered your time to an organization or cause that does good by serving those, helping the sick, the lonely, by bringing hope with the work of your hands and hearts, please stand. If you have been there for someone in your family or a friend, just to watch a movie, play a game, take a walk, have a drink, distracting them from all the craziness, spending treasured time, please stand. You are the helpers, enabling us to endure thanks to your gracious hearts and hands, filling our world every day with hope. Stay standing because this Aliyah is for you. We call on our readers this service. Who are our first readers? Cantor. Leah Shefferman, and then Carol Scharf, and then we get a whole line. Then we get Vivi Leugman, we get Nadine Katz, and then the cleanup hitter is Harry First. There you go. I'll tell you what, it's a long Torah reading. Why don't we stand for the first part of the Aliyah, the blessing before the Torah reading? We're going to do that together. Then you can sit, but know this Torah Aliyah is yours. Want to lead us in that? Here we go. Baruch Adonai Hambarach Leolam Va'ed.
Amen. Vayehi achar hadvarim ha'ele v'ha'elohim nisa et Avraham. Vayomer elav Avraham vayomer hineni. Vayomer kachna et bincha et yechidecha asher ahavta et Yitzchak v'lech lecha el eretz hamoriah v'ha'alehu sham le'olah al achad heharim asher omar elecha. Vayashkem Avraham baboker Vayachavosh et hamoro, vayikach et shnei ne'arav ito, va'et Yitzchak beno, vayevaka atzei olah, vayakom vayelech el hamakom asher amar lo ha'elohim. Bayom hashlishi Vayisa Avraham et einav Vayar et hamakom merachok.
Vayomer Avraham el na'arav shevu lechem po im hachamor va'ani v'hana'ar nelcha ad ko v'nishtakavet.
Oh, that was so close. Elecha.
Okay. Vayikach Avraham el atzei el. Sorry, I lost my place. Vayikach Avraham et atzei ha'olah vayosem al Yitzchak beno vayikach biyado et ha'esh v'et ha'ma'achelet v'yelchu shnehem yachdav. Vayomer Yitzchak el Avraham aviv Vayomer avi, vayomer hineni v'ni, vayomer hine ha'esh v'ha'etzim v'aye hasel le'olah, Vayomer Avraham Elohim Yireh lo Haseh Leolah Bani V'yelchu Shnehem Yachdav.
Vayiven Sham Avraham et HaMizbeach Vaya'aroch et Ha'itzim Vaya'akod et Yitzchak beno Vayasem oto al HaMizbeach mimo La'itzim Vayishlach Avraham et Yado Vayikach et HaMahelet Lishot et beno Vayikra elav malach Adonai min hashamayim Vayomer Avraham Avraham Vayomer hineni.
Excellent.
Vayomer, wait, sorry. Vayomer, al tishlach el hanar ve'al taslo me'uma ki ata yadachti ki erei Elohim ata ve'lo chasachta et bincha et yehidcha mimeni. Vayisa Avraham et einav, vayar v'hine ayil achar, ne'echad bazvach b'karnav. Vayelech Avraham vayikach et ha'ayil, lehalilu le'olah tachat beno.
Vayikra Avraham Shem HaMakom Hahu Adonai Yireh Asher Yeomer Hayom Behar Adonai Yeroeh Vayikra Malach Adonai El Avraham Shenit min hashamayim Vayomer binishbatinu Adonai ki ya'an asher asita et hadavar hazeh v'lo chasachta et pincho et yechidecha Ki vorecha vorechecha v'harba arbe et zaracha kekokvei hashamayim v'chachol asher al sfatayam vayira zaracha et sha'ar oyevav Vehit barachu v'zaracha kol goyei haaretz ekev asher shamata b'koli. Vayashav Avraham el na'arav vayakumu וילכו יחדיו אל באר שבע, וישב אברהם בבאר שבע.
With brokenness all around us, within us, we pause for a minute, close your eyes, picture those people, that person in your life, maybe it's you, most in need of healing, psycho-spiritually, emotionally, physically. And as you picture them, as you pray deep inside, with your hope, whisper their name now aloud. As you remain standing, I'd call on the Vigs to serve as Hagba and Glila with the Vigs. Matt and Karen, come on up. We're going to do this Torah because this Torah is it's very
big.
heavy, very heavy. I know you could handle it. I wasn't questioning it anyway. I wasn't going to. All right, so leverage, pull down, push down.
V'zot haTorah asher sam Moshe lifnei bnei Yisrael al pi Adonai beyad Moshe. Lai la lai 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 la lai lai la lai la lai la lai la lai.
Put it all the way down.
Lai la lai 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 la lai lai la lai la lai la lai la lai.
Beautiful. The ache for home lives in all of us, the safe place where we can go just as we are. Maya Angelou somehow hears our hearts. Much as our homes this past pandemic year plus, for most have been havens, safe ports in a torrential storm. You'll note I wrote this before the floods. And so what I say is our hearts break for the people of Louisiana, New Orleans and environs, for those in our local community, Mamaroneck and the Flats, some people in Larchmont who have been devastated, and we are here to help. What we've longed for, however, through this year and a half, is to come back home, to be together in places we love, the spaces we congregate that help us connect and enable us to know we are not going through all of this alone. Home, we've come to find, is not simply an address, not so much as a physical place, as it is the space wherein the people who gather there, through the interaction they share, create what it can mean to be home. For us, coming together this year at Larchmont Temple is a gift we can never take for granted. For those of us safely able to be here, for us to see and hear voices, for us to hear hope is a godsend, a gift. And for those out there live streaming in, wherever you happen to be, we hope it's so heartfelt it feels like you're in the third row. But wherever you are, because of all we have been through this past year plus, because of all we've experienced as a community, as a country, because of all we've learned as a result, our return to this home we call LT is in some respects a coming home to a new place, a home that is ours to refurbish, if not remake. Witness to the unthinkable loss, safe we pray from this unrelenting virus, our dear ones, us, surviving isolation, yet unquestionably impacted by the social, emotional, psycho-spiritual disconnection, this return home feels so different that it presents us with a timely, if not epic, challenge. How can our coming home, these holy days, this new year, help us begin to put our lives and our world back together? Jewish tradition teaches that the house of all houses, the home which carried our heart, was the Beit HaMikdash, the holy temple of Jerusalem, the sacred center which still radiates 2,000 years after it's gone. Curiously, though I'm guessing few, if any of us, mark the date, who here knows what we do on the 9th of Av? Go ahead, I'm ready. Did you say fish? Oh, Tish. The Jewy Jew in the fifth row said, it's Tisha B'Av. We fast. Why? We pay tribute to that holy temple. In fact, we do it all the time. We just don't know it. Every time we pray, we are facing east towards Jerusalem. Every time we eat, we salt our bread. Why? The sacrifice of the holy temple. If you build a house, not due to the contractor's lack of finishing the last 5% of stuff they got to do, we're supposed to leave it just a bit unfinished. Why? The holy temple's destruction. It is this commemoration of Israel's ultimate historic destruction that frames our understanding of how we must rebuild now. Rabbi Ed Feinstein points out the irony. It is not through Jewish continuity, but moments of greatest historic discontinuity that our people understand and undergo the essential questioning that helps them reinvent themselves anew. Preaching in the shadow of Jerusalem's coming destruction and the fall of the first temple 2,600 years or so ago, witness to the people suffering the crumbling of its core, the prophet Jeremiah holds on to hope as catastrophe becomes an invitation to rebuilding. See, a time is coming, says the prophet, Adonai declares, when I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel. It will not be like the covenant I made with their fathers when I took them out of Egypt. For this is the new covenant. My Torah will be written within them, my teaching inscribed on their hearts. The great strength of our peoplehood comes from its uncanny ability to recreate in the face of devastating loss, to rebuild from the ruins of destruction. In this singular moment of coming back home, having lived through the devastation, our reality irrevocably altered, how will we remodel our Jewish house to be that safe place, and how will LT thereby help us rebuild our world? The building code to constructing a covenant home is one we know very well. It's been on the LT books for at least a couple of decades, and in the Rabbi's Pirkei Avot playbook for 2,000 years. But reading it today reveals a whole new process, maybe purpose, we never before perceived. Al Shalosha Devarim Ha'olam Omed, not on three things the world stands, but resting on three pillars, we can rebuild our world. Count them with me. 1, on Torah, not simply the study of our ancient text, but a living dialogue on why and how they matter. When all is said and done, Torah is not found in some old scroll, but in the struggle for life answers we share with one another. On avodah, not just prayer, but spiritual seeking, mindfulness and meditation, walking and sitting, dancing and singing, and silence. And most of all, seeing. Really seeing. God's not waiting for us in the sanctuary, but awaiting our daily discovery of holy moments hidden right before our eyes. On Gimilut Chasadim, not just good deeds, but a commitment to kindness, repairing the brokenness bit by bit, person by person. It is not some obligatory set of commandments alone that we keep, but actualizing the power we possess to bring light to an at times very dark world. And still, claiming we know the code itself is not enough, for it must be inscribed on our hearts. As pandemic life has painfully but powerfully taught us, the key to our reconstruction is vision. Can we envision a reality informed by a healthier, more humane future that is fueled by the problems of the present? Can we see beyond the challenges to the possibility of change? Contrary to the classic one-liner often cited by old rabbis and congregational presidents, inscribed above the ark is not written, "But we've always done it this way." As adventurer, author, activist, president of Giraffes International, John Graham understands, a powerful vision pulls people in, creating the energy and the will to make change happen. It inspires individuals to commit, to persist, to give their best. A vision helps keep groups together, especially in stressful times. But don't try to think your way to a vision. A vision comes from the heart. Every rebuilding begins then in vision. Architecturally speaking, the dreaming and discussion that leads to sketches and eventually schematic design, and then to construction documents enabling permits to be issued, contractors to make bids, and finally the best equipped chosen so the real building can begin. So consider yourselves the construction crew, our covenant community, the general contractor, and with the creator of all being having drawn up and placed the schematic design before us, maybe within us. Equipped not with hard hats, but holy and open hearts, How will our renovating LT help renew our world? There is one People of Israel building project that must be our model, the only one that stood the test of time. What was the magic in making the Mishkan, the portable tabernacle that the Levites and Israel schlepped in their midst throughout 40 years of wandering, that enables it metaphorically to still be standing today? The call came from the Holy One. Make me a sanctuary that I may dwell among you. The people of Israel respond enthusiastically, not just bringing all the materials or writing a big check, but by doing all the construction work themselves. They step up. Yet, even they may not have realized what they were building. The tabernacle command is our construction code in disguise, not meant for our hands, but for our hearts. The 17th century commentator Tzedal Aderech notes, make me a Mishkan. The Torah states not bitocho in it, but that I may dwell bitocham in them, teaching us the divine presence does not rest on the sanctuary by virtue of the building, but by virtue of the builders. The sanctuary is not where God dwells. As the tabernacle construction makes clear, God lives in us, really between us. So by coming together this new year as LT, what are we actually building? We are constructing a community of heart, a sacred space where every voice is heard, where every person's story matters, where the struggles and life sorrows of some, or the joys and successes of any one, somehow touch us all. We are refurbishing a community of faith, not alone in some grand puppeteer pulling all the strings, but seeing the sacred potential in one another, faith that our relationships, real and resilient, are connecting in common cause and common care, might make God's presence felt. We are rebuilding a community of hope, courageously seeing beyond the collective and personal pain to a place of healing, beyond the hurtful hate to a society stitched back together by love. What destroyed the Holy Temple of Jerusalem, the rabbis taught, was not structural irregularity, but human irresponsibility. As they put it, sinat chinam, causeless, unfounded, baseless hatred. Something our 21st century America knows a bit about. Remaining indifferent to the pain of others, making anyone who disagrees the enemy, demonizing difference, dialogue becomes defunct. Politics become polarizing, and the welfare of all take a back seat to the perceived liberty of some. Then the cherished halls of our house begin to crack and crumble, and the world feels like it's fallen apart. Which is why our LT return is monumental. 75 Larchmont Avenue is the place we call home base, our resource center for rebuilding, the holy Home Depot, if you will, that retools our resolve to the covenant we keep and likewise keeps us, and ultimately inspires us in any little corner of the world we find ourselves to do all we can to put life back together again, to make this world feel a little bit more like home. This summer, we as a clergy team have been busy eating and drinking in your homes, or actually your backyards. Our LT backyard summer schmoozes have been wonderful. I'd even say a sacred success, and that's not just because a number of them served sushi. Over July and August, we gathered in close to 10 LT member backyards as they welcomed in around 20 or so LTers, demographically divided, on select evenings. And the agenda? to delight in and enjoy simply being together, to talk and to listen, to share how hard this past year was for us, to be honest about the pain we felt, and the unexpected gifts of family our adjusted work and life schedules have given us, to realize how much we have in common, the frustrations as well as the blessings, and to appreciate each other, to support each other, and to feel like we were holding each other up. And most of all, to have the chutzpah, the covenantal courage to see a new tomorrow, dreaming together what we can do as LT to make the world a bit brighter, a bit better. At one of the schmoozes of late 30, early 40-somethings folks, almost all of them with kids, after over 90 minutes of sharing and talking, as people were saying goodnight, one LT mom of 3, whom I've known since before she was a bat mitzvah, approached me, having grown up at Temple, thanking me. She said, "You know, this is what Larchmont Temple is really all about." "Sushi?" I said. "No," she said, "just giving us a chance to connect family to family and helping us feel like whatever we are doing, wherever we are, we're all in this together." Our backyard schmoozes will continue in the fall, giving more members a chance to connect house to house and heart to heart, to commiserate and hopefully celebrate why we're here. Unbelievably, this is the start of my 35th year here at Larchmont Temple. And with all that has changed, I came when I was 12. With all that has changed, with the singularly meshugana past year and a half we've lived through, unique as our return to LT feels, one thing remains the same. Larchmont Temple is here not merely to create a vibrant Jewish life, but to inspire us, to compel us with a vision that fills our hearts, a hope that strengthens our hands to generate light whenever and wherever life gets dark, and to know simply by being who we are, every day we are rebuilding our world. So this new year, person by person, caring hand by loving heart, may it be. Amen.
Gotta get home, there's a garden to tend. There's food on the ground and the birds all have moved back into my hack. A whistle and static when the young learn to fly. I will patch all the holes up again. Well, I can't believe that my lime tree is dead. I thought it was sleeping, I guess it got fed up with not being fed. And I would be too. I keep food in my belly and hope that my time isn't soon. Isn't soon. And so I try to understand what I can't hold in my hand, and whatever I find, I'll find my way back to you. And if you try to find it too, because this place is overgrown, it's a waxing moon. Home is wherever we are, if there's love here too. I gotta get home, there's a garden to tend. All the fruits of the ground buried and began their own family trees. Teach them thank you and please. They spread their own roots, then they watch their young fruit grow again. This old trail will lead me right back to where it begins. And so I try to understand what I can't hold in my hand, and whatever I find, I'll find my way back to you. And if you could try to find it too, because this place is overgrown, it's a waxing moon. Home is wherever we are if there's love here too. I said home is wherever we are if there's love here too. Home is wherever we are if there's love here too.
That was good.
So was yours.
The shofar.
Yeah.
Wow.
We made it to the shofar service.
It's amazing. It's amazing. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Realize that what the shofar Rambam says is the alarm clock that wakes us up. I know when my alarm goes off, I just turn over and do this. You can't do that with the shofar. It's because you don't just hear it on the outside, it gets you in your kishkis. Because it says, you know what? I can do more. I can be better. I can be kinder. I can be open a little bit more. I can try. The shofar is the alarm clock that rings inside. We rise for the shofar sounding.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lishmoa kol shofar. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה.
Shivarim Truah. Shivarim.
הרשת שפתנו ירב לפניך, הרב ונישא. הרשת שפתנו ירב לפניך, הרב ונישא. מבין ומאזין, מביט ומקשיב לכל תקיע. תקיע תהינו, תקבל ברחמים, רחמים ורצון, סדר סדר, מלכויותינו.
On page 23, the Aleinu is our call to rebuilding the world. It says later in the paragraph, Litakein olam, tikkun olam. We didn't invent that. The rabbis said it 2,400 years ago. That's our code for every single day. No openers?
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל עמונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא.
Together, on page 24 at the top. May the time not be distant, our God, when all shall turn to you in love, when corruption and evil shall give way to integrity and goodness, when lies and bigotry shall no longer enslave the mind, nor idolatry blind the eye. So may all created in your image become one in spirit and one in friendship, forever united in your service. Then shall your dominion be established on earth, and the word of your prophet fulfilled. Adonai will reign forever.
ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ.
This past year has been filled with such difficulty, really such destruction and devastation. It's worthy of a Kaddish. We read responsibly. You start.
Cannot count the losses of this past year.
Yet we lament the death of more than 2 million from this virus, the deaths of healthcare workers, the deaths of the homeless, every life lost to this pandemic. The fathers and mothers, the children, the grandparents, the canceled weddings, the funerals in isolation, the playground picnics, the Sunday dinners, never again to happen. Children learning live in their classrooms, the increase in hunger and poverty and evictions. To indignity and hate, to indifference, the voices that have been silenced, human rights denied, the injustice that divides by race and gender, failing to see the spark within us that makes all beings one. But there is one who can. May the one who makes peace in the highest heavens implant within us the strength, the spirit, to help memory serve as our inspiration to build a more just, loving, hopeful world. With memory bringing their love to life still, we especially remember those in the Larchmont Temple family who died on Rosh Hashanah's past, the 1st and 2nd of Tishri. Elaine Lewis, Ann Talon, Sidel Greenberg, Leonard Lehrer, Louis Tone, Bernie Weinstein, Celine Levine, Arthur Renard, Lucille Jaffe, Charles Hutman, Jillian Sherrod, and Solomon Reinley. So to all of those whose love still lives in our hearts, we remember them now, we hear them now, especially at this new year when they would be with us sharing sweetness. And so Kaddish, collectively, is for them all. Yit gadal v'yit kadash shemei rabbah, be'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uv'izman kari v'imru amen, yehei shmei rabbah mevorach le'olam u'olmei maya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemei d'kudsha b'richu le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata tush berchata v'nechamata da'amiran bi'alma v'imru amen yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. O says Shalom, Bimromav, Huya says Shalom, Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael. Amen. Zichronam livracha. May their memories be for blessing. Amen. I think do we have a Larfy rep first? Larfy rep. Of course they're here. Of course they're here.
Board members. LARFT is Larchmont Temple's high school youth group with awesome events for 9th and 12th graders.
As we begin the new year, so does the annual High Holiday Food Drive, sponsored by LARFT and the Social Action Committee. All the food that you donate will benefit the Hope Community Services Food Pantry and greatly help those in our own community.
As you leave the sanctuary, you will be handed a reusable bag by a member of the LARFT board. In that bag is a flyer that lists some suggested food items. Please, no glass, no open containers, and no expired food or perishables. Checking the expiration date is very important.
Your filled bags can be returned on Erev Yom Kippur or Yom Kippur morning. Please bring them to the U-Haul that will be parked right outside on Larchmont Avenue.
LARFT and the Social Action Committee would like to thank you for supporting the High Holiday Food Drive. Your contribution at this season is greatly appreciated. Shana Tova.
Shana Tova. I hope by now most, if not all of you, know who I am. But just in case you don't, you haven't read all my letters, I'm Michael Nathan, and I am president of the temple. My wife, Amy Kreisberg, and I have been LT members since 1996, and our two sons, Daniel and Jordan, were both bar mitzvahed and confirmed at the temple. The boys are away at schools now, so unfortunately they can't join us today in person. I was also asked to leave my dog at home, given that he's the only one in the family who sings worse than me. As you heard from Rabbi Serkman, our temple theme for the year is coming home. And I would like to spend a few minutes today providing my perspective on what coming home means to me. Coming home is all about re-engaging with and strengthening the special community that we call LT. In the age of the internet and the pandemic, there are numerous non-LT opportunities, some better than others, to listen to services, take classes on Jewish subjects, explore Jewish texts, or even learn to bake challah. But no matter how good these impersonal YouTube or Zoom offerings are, and no matter how comfortable you are sitting in your home watching an unfamiliar clergy or teacher on a computer or television, these offerings are all missing one key element: a sense of community. The Jewish people have long recognized the importance of community. The Talmud teaches us to gather in groups of at least 10 whenever we join together in prayer. But everyone here knows that a modern Jewish community is so much more than a simple minyan. Think of all those times when the temple community helped you celebrate a joyous occasion, or held you up and provided support during challenging times. From baby namings, to nursery graduations, to B'nai Mitzvah, to confirmation, to times of national and personal crises, to funerals, to yard sites. We all benefit from being part of the LT community, hopefully in person, but also virtually when needed. Sharing Hevra Torah, adult education, or cultural arts events with fellow congregates, led by and gathering alongside friends and family, is so much more meaningful than watching an unknown person or teacher speak from an unknown bima. Yes, I know that when some think of the word temple, they think only of a building. And I certainly do not want to minimize the importance of our buildings and garden, which allow us to serve this congregation. But to me, what makes this building and our grounds a sacred space is the people, the community, who join together in the temple's halls and garden in prayer, in song, studying, reflecting, organizing for social justice, or just providing mutual support to one another. For those of you in the sanctuary, take a moment, look around, and feel that sense of community. And for those of you watching from home, I hope you feel the warmth of the LT community streaming through your screen, and I hope to reunite with you in our sanctuary or tent as soon as possible. The Temple's clergy and lay leadership remain committed to building a strong, interconnected community, hopefully through in-person gatherings, but also by continuing to utilize the tools we use to facilitate virtual community building during the pandemic. We recognize that as a congregation of individuals, our members look for different things from Larchmont Temple. But this Rosh Hashanah, please make a New Year's resolution to increase your involvement in our community, whether by attending services or programs, participating in small groups, sending your children to Kesher, engaging with our social action or social justice initiatives, or simply reaching out to other members to renew old relationships and build new ones. Before I end, I would like to take this opportunity to welcome to our congregation all members who have joined the temple since last Rosh Hashanah. We have 52 new families, meaning more than 150 new members. Although traditionally, the temple's president reads a list of new members at Rosh Hashanah, don't worry, this year I'm not going to do it. The list is logged. So what we've done is we've included the names at the end of your program and in the newsletter. And I hope you will welcome all our new members to our community. I'd also like to take a moment to thank Rabbi Serkman, Cantor Scherer, Cantor Mendelson, Rabbi Frankel, Rabbi Rudin, Rabbinic intern Lily Goldstein, the choir, and Jonathan Freeman for preparing for our services and leading us so beautifully in prayer and song. Finally, a special mention must go out to our COVID and Tech Task Force, who worked so hard to help us join together safely in the sanctuary and for facilitating the live streaming of our services. Just one last item. I have spoken about the LT community, but it is important to remember that we are part of a larger local community. That community, as well as some of our members, have recently suffered significant devastation and hardship from Hurricane Ida. I know many of you have already reached out to help, and I ask that we continue to support our neighbors and members during these days of awe and beyond. On behalf of Larchmont Temple's officers, our trustees, and my family, I wish each of you a new year filled with gifts of sweetness and renewal. Shana Tova.
Thanks, Maxwell. So just to underscore the importance or the impact of what a temple home is about, I can't resist this. So the people sitting in the front row over there, who are 2 out of 3 of them, you have to realize, Chuck, notwithstanding, who's lovely and family connected, but 2 out of 3 of them started at my temple home, our temple home, at Temple Emmanuel in Haverhill, Massachusetts, in the K-1 program, right? And I'm going to tell you right now, they're not 29 anymore. Paul Rosengard, Carol Goldberg are some of my dearest, oldest friends, truly cherished, and we all started growing up doing our thing in Temple. And wherever we are, it's Temple Emmanuel in Haverhill, Massachusetts. And it's Rabbi Abraham Isaac Jacobson, who was one scary guy, I'll tell you that. You out there in TV, I'm not lying about that. We rise together for our closing prayer and song. God of our mothers and fathers, God of every generation, holy source of all being, renew our resolve to help, strengthen our spirits to hope, sweeten our lives to love. Thus will this new year be filled with the blessing our renewal makes real.
Hayom tiganu
Okay, we can go.